Hi, thanks for coming on. Andy with you here on Friday, December the 3rd. Apologies, this is late. I did mean to get it up last night, but I've been really busy this week. I probably shouldn't have gone to the game the other night, and I did. And, I ended up sort of losing half a day. But anyway, there's plenty of value about this weekend. I think it's not an over-friendly coupon, I don't think, in Scotland or the non-league. But I do think there's plenty of value about, and I think there's some decent-ish bets to be had. So I mean, it's all a question of how you see it. But and just to say, we'll be back Sunday, and we'll be later Sunday, and we'll review all the games then. Right, let's get into Aberdeen, St Mirren, 45, 26, 29. There's quite a bit in St Mirren, 0.93, but I just want to say, the same with the second bet, the Hibs Motherwell bet. These, although they look quite good on figures and there's value in the prices, they're both sort of a reflection, I think, of where Aberdeen and Hibs are. I don't think, because St Mirren, I think, they're not a great side at all. I think they've won one match or something at home all season. I think they've won a couple on the road, but it's not a bet I'm going to have. I'm not going to back Motherwell either. The 0.93 at 29% is bordering on, well, yeah, I might do. I like to see, as I always say, like a point in it when I'm taking sort of like the 20%, but 0.93 at 29% is not too far wide of the mark. But as I say, I'm just wondering whether I've sort of inflated this and this because of the poor sort of showing from Aberdeen and Hibs recently. We'll cover both these bets together because I'm talking about them, but that's just my feeling there. I'm not saying that is the case. I mean, I think you're getting 100 to 30 about a 12 to 5 shot in St Mirren, and you're getting 7 to 2 about a 3 to 1 shot in Motherwell. So they're both, there's decent value there, but you are taking on sides which are rated to win. Both of these are rated to win, but there's no value in them. Sorry, it's a question of how you see it personally. They're not members' bets for the account. It's the sort of thing that, like sometimes I do and sometimes I used to in the olden days. If I thought, like the other week when I've said to you, I think Cove are absolute best bets of the weekend or something like that, it's a sort of thing that I might do, say, in a double with Cove, say, just as a, just as something to more of a bit of interest. But there's value in St Mirren and Motherwell, but excuse me, as I say, there's just not quite enough to warrant involvement. Rangers Dundee 68-22, 10%. Look, there's 7 points in Dundee, but 90% of the time you're going to lose. Fives on, it's not for me. It would never be for me unless the team should be sixes on, but 68% Rangers should win. St Johnstone Ross, tough game to call this. 48-23, 29. There's a bit in both of them. You can get 5 to 4 St Johnstone, 5 to 2 on Ross at the time of doing this. So again, it's much like the two games that we've spoken about already. There's not a great deal in either of them. But St Johnstone are rated to win, and if it was a gun to the head job and I had to pick one, I would side with St Johnstone. And particularly when you look at a team here who's rated 48, they got a 48% chance of winning, the same as Hibs, and 3% more than Aberdeen. And you find Aberdeen at evens, Hibs odds on, you can get 5 to 4 about St Johnstone. When you compare it with those other two, it's a much better bet. But it's a bet, I can afford to leave alone. Whether that's being a bit snobbish or whatever, I don't know. But 0.15 at 48% is probably okay. If I didn't have other bets this week, then yeah, I mean, I would certainly consider it. But I think that there's better bets available this week to us. Dundee United, Celtic 20, 24, 56. There's a heck of a lot in Dundee United. There's 3.5 points in Dundee United. They should be 4 to 1. They're 15 to 2. Yes, there's an 80% chance this bet's not going to win. But you know what I say about teams that are sort of 20% and over. If there's a point in it, I think. I mean, look, I don't think Dundee United. It's not a good thing because there's an 80% chance it's going to lose. But we're being paid out at 15-2. Celtic shouldn't be 2-5. I think they should be 4-5 best. It's just a question of whether you want to, whether you want to take a chance with Dundee United. But as I say, they're 15-2. They should be 4-1. But there's an 80% chance this bet's not going to come off. But again, if I could find a 20% strike rate at 15-2, I would be all over it, and I wouldn't have to lift a finger any day of the week because that would absolutely do it. It's how you see it. Livingston Hearts 30-24-46. There's a quarter of a point in Livingston. Hearts, I think the bookmakers have got them dead right here. They rate them the same as I do. 30% Livingston at a quarter of a point. It's not really a lot, is it? I think we can back a team here at 48%. Yes, there's a tenth of a point less in it, but there's 18% more chance this bet's going to come off. Doesn't matter what this bottom price is. As I always say, 5-2 we know is a decent price, but there's only 0.25 in it. There's 0.15 in that. And the Dundee United bet, they got a 10% chance more of beating Hearts than what Dundee United have of beating Celtic, but you're being paid at 0.25 extra. We're getting 3.5 extra at Dundee United. Again, it's a bet if I was scratching around for stuff and there wasn't a lot going on, I could be tempted. But again, it's a bet I'm not prepared to have purely and simply because there's not enough value in it for the chance there is of winning. Let's go on to the Championship. I think this is a standout game. I can't understand why Inverness are favourites with the bookmakers. It makes no sense to me. I might have got this completely wrong. And don't forget, this game is this evening. 34-24-42. Now, Kilmarnock haven't lost a game on the road all season. They lost at home to Inverness. They'll want revenge for that. Inverness have been in poor form. I think they won last week, but I think it was against Queen of the South, wasn't it? If my memory serves me right. I think this is must bet material. I think, yes, there's a 58% chance it's not going to win, but if I'm being paid out 15-8 at 42 with a 42% strike rate, I'm going to clean up in the long run. Now, I'm not saying this bet's going to win this weekend. I never ever say that, but you have to back a 15-8 shot with a 42% strike rate. They should be 11-8 Kilmarnock. They should be favourites for this game. Inverness should not be favourites. I'm not saying that Kilmarnock are good things. I'm saying that there's half a point in it at 42%. And if we go back through these, you got half a point at 25%. It's half a point at 42%. You're not going to back Motherwell with a 25% chance when you can get 42% chance with the same profit in the bet. It's the same value in the bet. So this is a must bet for me. This is a bet I'm having. I don't tell you all the bets I'm having because it's not fair to my members, but this is a bet I'm having this weekend or tonight. I've already had my bet. So, but as I say, if I'm offered 15-8, about 11-8 shots, I'd take it all day long. Arbroath Wraith 34-22-42. Tough game to call this one. I think they're both in decent form at the moment. My figures slightly put Wraith as a more fancied 0.25 in it. Again, it's a bet. If bets were thin on the ground, I could consider it. But again, here we get compare it to that. Both 42%. There's half a point extra in that. There's a quarter of a point in that. If you're choosing between the two, you choose Kilmarnock every time. Hamilton Dunfermline 34-29-37. Bookmakers see this pretty much the same way as me. It's a tough one to call. My figures slightly favour Dunfermline, but I've been overrating them all seasons. I've said many times. It's a tough one to call. It's game that I wouldn't want to get involved in. And this figure here is massively high. Very rare do I sort of have draws up and around that figure. Because I say when I start these figures off, these all start at 33%, and then I add or deduct and whatever. So it's not been a great deal of movement here on the draw. So I think bookmakers have priced this game up exactly. I mean, they've got their little bit built in, obviously, but Morton Air 42, 24, 34. There's 10th of a point in there at 34%. It's a game I wouldn't want to get involved with. I think, Morton are the most likeliest winners on figures, but we don't take 5 to 4, about 11 to 8 shots. We're being underpaid. Queen of the South Partick 21, 23, 56. I like the figure on Partick, and I like the value in the bet. I think Partick should be odds on. They're evens. I never generally get involved with games with Morton and Queen of the South, but 56%, and we're getting odds against. It's up to you how you view it, but I know what I think about that bet. Let's go on to League One. Clyde Peterhead 40, 25, 35. Again, I think it's a game that bookmakers have got pretty right. I can't find any value in the game. I've got Clyde in at 6 to 4, and they are. Peterhead at 15 to 8. They're 6 to 4. They're underpriced. Again, if I was forced to make a selection, it would be Clyde. If Clyde were to drift out, I don't know. You might be able to get a 7 to 4 tomorrow, and all of a sudden you've got 0.25 extra in it at 40%. It becomes worthwhile betting material. But the games like that are sort of ones, guys, to keep your eye on. Because as I put this out, I'm putting the prices out as I've got them now. Come Saturday, sort of 1, 2 o'clock time, this could be 7 to 4, 15 to 8. And if you're getting sort of that price, about a 40% chance, then obviously you want to back it. Cove Dumbarton 63, 23, 14. Cove, it's been decent recently. I can't see them not winning tomorrow. 63%. They're 2s on, and 63% at 2s on, and I just go back to Rangers 68% 5s on it. This is why I harp on about these the higher up leagues like the English Premiership. This is what we always get in that. We get teams sort of rated in the 60s and they're 5s on, whereas you drop down a division or two, you get a 60-odd% bet at 2s on. I know there's no value in it, but the point I'm making is that you're not being shortchanged as much as you are in the top divisions. I'd expect Cove to win. East Fife Alloa 33, 24, 43. They're a tough nut to crack at Bayview. I don't like opposing them here, although they have let the side down recently. There's 0.3 in Alloa at 43%, and that to me is sort of betting material. It's a difficult one to make on Alloa, isn't it? Because figures say, oh yeah, you got to back them, there's value in the price, Andy, it's 43%, but then you go and look at the form against teams towards the bottom. They've not performed. Now, if they were away at somewhere like Cove or Montrose, I'd fancy this, but you should really fancy them more at East Fife, but you can't. But saying that, 43 with 0.3 in it, it usually is a must bet, but so it was a hard one to call. Montrose Airdrie 41, 22, 37. Again, another real tight match. Montrose just slightly have the edge on figures, but there's value in Airdrie. There's 0.3 in Airdrie at 37%. And you've got a 37% bet here with 0.1 in. So, if you're looking at these three, Alloa is a standout bleeding bet in League One, because there's no value in the top two games. You've got 0.3 at 37, you've got 0.1 at 37, you're getting 0.3 at 43. So if you had to make a bet in League One, it would be Alloa. The last two, the bottom two games, Queen's Park, Falkirk, again, that's 39, 24, 37, real tough game to call. Figures sort of slightly suggest Queen's Park, but believe it or not, if someone said to me, I had to pick a winner here, I would pick Falkirk. They're an unreliable side, Falkirk, but Queen's Park have been appalling recently. The brand of football, I think, has been started off all well. I think, at this level, they've now, not going to say been found out or anything like that, but I think teams know how to play them. And I think that, if they retain ambitions of winning this league, they've got to sort of, try and sort of play a bit more front foot football rather than just keeping the ball and being decent on the eye. But again, there's no bet in this game. So go on to League 2, then we'll look at the National League. Edinburgh Annan, 45, 22, 33. Half a point in Annan at 33%. It's about right. It's not a bet really for me, because I shouldn't have said it like that. It's a bet on figures at 33%, half a point. It's okay. I'm happy with that. But I think the up and down performance of Annan is one which sort of frustrates slightly, and they're a tough one to call. Albion Forfar 27, 22, 51. Forfar should be odds on. They're not. They're 11 to 10. You're getting 0.19 at 51%. I think that's decent enough. Albion have been in okay form. I think I sort of slightly underrated Albion this season, and but I would expect Forfar to win. They've got to win this game if they want to keep the pressure up on Kelty. Cowdenbeath Stirling 22, 24, 54. Again, a team I've got in at odds on. Stirling, similar to Forfar. There's 0.17 in. I'm not going to say they're good things, but they should be winning. Again, they're a team which are up there in the mix. Cowdenbeath are at the bottom, struggling. Stirling really should be winning this game. It's entirely up to you whether you think 0.17 at 54% is enough for you. It usually is for me. All depends on how you see it. Elgin Kelty 21, 23, 56. It's 0.40 in Elgin. It's not for me. And Kelty, they've been underpriced every week, haven't they? Pretty much. I don't think we've not backed them once singly this season. I think we've only done them in the half-time, full-time bets. And I think they'll probably win this game. Stenhousemuir Stranraer 54, 23, 23. I thought Stenny should be odds on. I thought they've been in decent form. They got turned over last week, or the week before, whenever it was. But Stranraer have been unreliable. I think Stenny were heading in the right direction. Whether this break and losing that game has interrupted the flow of things, I don't know. But I can't assess them on I don't knows. I've got to assess them on what's in front of me. I've got them in at 5 to 6. They should be 11 to 10. Again, it's very similar to these two, isn't it? It's how you see it. It's whether you think that's enough for you to chance your money. As I say, best bet in Scotland this week, and then we'll do the non-league. I think that there's an extreme amount of value in Dundee United. I think there's an extreme amount of value in Kilmarnock as well. I think Partick's favourable. Alloa's the best bet in League 1, and the best bet in League 2 is probably Stenhousemuir, because they're rated the same as Stirling and 3% more than Forfar, but they've got 0.27 in. I'm not saying any of those are going to win, or they're bets, or whatever. If it was gun to the head time, what's the strongest bet? I would probably say it would be Cove. I'm not going to give you Rangers Dundee 5's on. I mean, yeah, it probably is a good bet, and they'll win. But Cove is probably the best bet. And yes, it's underpriced, and I expect it. But if I had to have one bet this week, for me life to depend on it, it probably would be Cove. Right, let's go on to the non-league. There's not a lot about, to be honest, but I think it was a really, really tough coupon. And I went to Havant the other night, and I'm probably going to go there tomorrow again, actually. Let's have a look in the National League anyway. Barnet, Maidenhead, all these bets I'm having. So you don't need to sort of what you're betting or whatever, because I'm putting them all these non-league bets up for you to see anyway. 52, 22, 26 Barnet should be 10 to 11. They're evens. There's 0.09 in it, and that's what I mean when I say that it's quite a tough coupon. I think it's not only tough finding winners, but I think it's tough finding value this week in the non-league, in the National League, but well, all of them. But this 0.09 at 52, I think it's fair enough. Solihull Woking, 50, 23, 27, 6 to 5, they should be evens, 0.2, 50%, it's enough. Again, it's a 50-50 bet, isn't it? It really is, literally 50%, and you're getting more on evens, so you got to take it. Teams over 60% rated, where there's no value. Bromley 64% versus Wealdstone. Two's on. Wrexham 61% v Dover, but there's no value there at 4 to 11. I think Wrexham will rank Dover. They lost at home to Yeovil the other day, and their home form suspect. Wrexham, I don't trust them at home at all, but on the road they're a different animal, and I think they'll smash Dover tomorrow. I saw Dover at Yeovil last week. Actually, they should have lost there. Kettering, National League North, Kettering, Boston, 44, 23, 33. There's 0.25 in Kettering. It's okay. And it's like I say, I mean, we're only getting like 0.09 and 0.2 in the National League. We're getting 0.25 and 0.2 here. There's not massive value, but it is value, and they are rated to win, in fairness. Southport 45, 22, Hereford 33, 0.2 in Southport. They've been decent at home. They've not lost a game. I think they've won 5, drawn 2 or something like that at home. Hereford have been in decent nick recently, but these were the only 2 games that there was any value in the National League North. It's minuscule, but you have to back them. AFC Fylde rated 65% against Blyth, 2 to 7. I think that's an absolutely stone bonking certainty as well. Fylde to beat Blyth. I wouldn't put you off a Fylde and Cove double, if I'm honest. I don't know what it pays off the top of my head, but I think that's top at home to bottom, isn't it? And Fylde ought to win, unless they just turn up and go through the motions and expect to win. But I'd expect them to rank Blyth tomorrow. National League South, 1 bet, Concord, Braintree, 50, 23, 27 Braintree. Even money Concord, 6 to 5 is available. And it's pretty much the same story, isn't it? We've got 0.2 on Concord, 0.2 Southport, 0.25 Kettering, 0.2 Solihull, 0.09 Barnet. There really isn't nothing that's standout value. There is some value there because I found some bets at sort of 4 to 1 that should be short, but where the rating is so low, they don't warrant. You can't back them. They fall into like this sort of category, say. They're not as big as 16 to 1, but where the rating is so low, you can't get involved. But that's it for this weekend. So I'm having 5 bets in the National League, as you can all see, and members' bets in the Scottish League have gone out. And don't forget those bets tonight. And I'll review it all Sunday. Fingers crossed we're lucky. Whatever you're doing, be lucky, and I'll speak to you then.